I believe he can fly. I believe he can touch the sky. I think about it every night and day. Now then, Mr. Starbuck, do you think you can keep your feet planted on the ground? Yes, I apologize for losing control. You ready to tell us the truth? Not that. Anything but that. What's going on? This is not the Mr. Starbuck I know. It appears Space Boy is prone to deception. Witness. Yikes. Yes. I thought your story odd, but perhaps the inconsistencies can be explained as the result of a medical side effect. Please, Prosecutor Blackwell, please don't talk about that. What are you talking about, Prosecutor Blackwell? Didn't I already state that Space Boy is, ironically, terrified of going into space? That's why he took some precautions just before launch. For you see, traces of this anti-anxiety drug were found in his system. Oh? I sense things are about to nosedive. You got it all wrong. I told him during the investigation, too. I don't know anything about any drugs. I never took any medication, I swear. It was found in his system, but he doesn't remember taking it. How could that be? Somebody must have slipped them to me. But I guess maybe that's why I don't remember. Because of the side effects. Yeah, that's why I don't remember much about what really happened. What? Order in the court. If you take too many, you really pass out. Forever. We can't get any useful testimony out of him if he doesn't remember anything. Well, this certainly explains why his testimony kept changing. Why didn't he just tell me he couldn't remember? I guess he didn't want anybody to find out he was terrified of going into space. Maybe I really did do it. Which brings us to the answer of our original question of how the witness climbed down the ladder with a dead body. It does? So what is it? A dead man feels no pain and makes no complaints, Justice Dono. But it would have signs of trauma if you dropped him. So the body was simply dropped down from the top of the ladder. Objection, objection, objection. Oh my, I see, and then the defendant could climb down with his free hand. The answer is neither had passed out yet, and they both climbed down the ladder. That's the only thing that makes sense. Objection! No! Drop the body down? Who could do such a disrespectful thing? Besides, dropping the body down would leave marks on the body itself. Thank you, Apollo. So you are capable of quick thinking. Yes, you are correct. Really? Oh, thanks? Huh? What's this? It's the oxygen tank from the victim's spacesuit. It's ruptured, and I'm sure you can figure out why. You can't be implying it ruptured when the defendant dropped the victim's body. I am, for they fracture easily when struck. Objection! Even if that's true, the tank's explosion and shrapnel would leave its mark on the body. Yet according to the autopsy report, only the knife wound was found on the victim's body. You're clearly grasping at straws with this line of reasoning. Silence. A spacesuit isn't heavy for the sake of being heavy, Justice Dono. It includes the latest technological devices and is made of the fabric of tomorrow. The fabric is made to protect astronauts from the dangers of space. So falling a few Earth yards would hardly leave a mark on the wearer. Objection! then shouldn't it be impossible to stab someone through it as well? It should, and yet, through sheer coincidence, the knife slipped through a weak spot in the suit's structure and found its way to its target. What are the chances? That has to be intentional. You forget that our killer is an astronaut himself with knowledge of how the suits work. He's got me there. And now my argument has been proven. Spaceboy killed the victim in the rocket and then dropped his body from the upper level. After climbing down, he shouldered the body and made sure the camera recorded them. There's no room for debate about these facts. It is clear that Solomon Starbuck is the only one who could have killed Clay Terran. Here, the report regarding the astronaut's oxygen tanks. Consider it my send-off gift. Feel free to use it as payment to cross the river Styx. Please stop putting things in my eyes. My eye already hurts quite a lot. Alright. Hey, this report is pretty detailed. The display on the astronaut's left shoulder shows the oxygen remaining. After the incident, the victim tank was ruptured, demanding oxygen is 0%. The tank belonged to Starbuck, who claims to have carried the victim, said it was 80% full. Objection! Objection! It was used more than that. Let's see, the display on the astronaut's left shoulder shows how much oxygen remains. I guess that means these glowing cyan digits represent the amount of oxygen remaining. I'm done for. I'm going to prison instead of space. Can you build a jail in space so I can go to space? Space boy. Yes? Take heart. The bejeweled night sky is still beautiful, even when viewed through bars. You mean the stars as seen from prison? That's right. Your cell will be your spaceship. Picture the view through the iron bars. It's like being an astronaut in your own craft for all time. It's not a half bad thought. Mr. Starbuck? Prosecutor Blackwell got to him good.
Spaceship, prison cell, fly me, my guilt and my despair, into the deepest, darkest space. And then, let's get sucked into a black hole together.
Objection! Fly me to the moon. Mr. Starbuck, you can't give up hope!
Oh, yes, Apollo?
You know, Clay really looked up to you. He said you are an incredible man. He said you'd never give up your dreams and passion for space, no matter the situation.
He said that?
So don't give up now and help me prove your innocence. For the sake of the man who respected you and believed in you, Clay Terran.
For Clay?
You're wasting your breath.
Apollo, thank you. I can see things clearly now.
Mr. Starbuck!
I'm fine now. Thanks for reminding me of my life's mission.
Right. We'll both be fine. I'll prove you're innocent. You'll see. And after that, we'll get you back into space. You've ignited the booster rockets of my soul. I'm on fire! I am Solomon Starbuck, astronaut, a cosmic hero chosen by the universe itself. This is no time to be whimpering and crying. I can't let you and Clay down. Balderdash. The sun, the moon, all of space is calling me, Solomon Soul Starbuck. Ready for launch. Begin the countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2,
2!
1! Everybody! Lift off! I'm swimming for some reason! Swimming! Swimming! Slowly rising up into the air!
Well, I feel like I've witnessed an actual rocket launch. Oh, it's so beautiful.
Apollo, you did it! You did something. I'm not sure quite what. You broke Prosecutor Blackwell's grip over Mr. Starbuck. I can't take the credit. It was all Mr. Starbuck. He pulled himself through. If you simpletons are done massaging one another's egos. No matter how positive your mood, my advantage remains unshakable. I have but to wait for the final guilty verdict. Isn't that right, your baldness? Gah! I can't let up now. I have to stop Blackwell. I have to see this through. Mr. Starbuck just has to make it back into space. I won't allow Clay's dream to remain unfulfilled. I've got to destroy Blackwell's argument somehow. Think, Justice! Think! Is it time already for lasers in our brain? If the only people at Launchpad 1 were Clay and Mr. Starbuck, and if Clay was already dead by the time this footage was taken, then the only person who could have killed him is Mr. Starbuck. So the only way to counter Blackwell's argument is if I can prove that Clay was still alive when they arrived at the boarding lounge. In which case I should be able to find some contradiction in the evidence itself. Now let's see about this data that we just received. This supposedly proves that Mr. Starbuck dropped Clay's body in Launchpad 1. But if I'm going to prove that false, there must be something I can use here. Enough of this farce, your baldness. Let's have your verdict.
Objection!
Prosecutor Blackwell, you seem to be in quite a hurry to rush the verdict. But about this oxygen tank data you submitted just now. It says that Mr. Starbuck's tank had 80% remaining while Mr. Terran's had 0. Do you stand by the accuracy of this report? Of course. Then I guess it simply means that it's faulty, as evidence goes. You will explain what you mean, Justice Dono. It's simple. This evidence contradicts the facts of this case. Take a look here at the detailed description and you'll see what I mean.
I hope you have some evidence, Mr. Justice, because I don't see what's so contradictory about that.
Yes, Your Honor, right away! This is the evidence that the oxygen tank report stands in contradiction to. The photo of the security camera.
Take that!
And how does this evidence present a contradiction?
The problem is this part here. You can see that there's 50% of somebody's tank remaining. Note the remaining oxygen in Mr. Starbuck's tank as he carries Mr. Terran.
It appears to say 50.
Yes, but according to the data, our client's tank had 80% remaining.
The oxygen in the tank increased?
I see Your Honor finds it as strange as I do. It's bad enough that there's a contradiction, but the increase in oxygen is beyond illogical.
Oh my, you're absolutely right. What is going on here?
Silence.
I, too, find it odd that the oxygen remaining has increased. If only there were oxygen in Earth's atmosphere, perhaps it simply absorbed it from the air. That's how oxygen tanks work, right? It would be as odd as if my rations were to increase. Which, by the way, please increase them. But what does that prove? It doesn't change the fact that it is the defendant carrying the victim's corpse. It's the other way around! I'm gonna bet you don't get more rations because you don't abide by the rules. Either way, the oxygen remaining shouldn't increase, just as your rations don't increase. Therefore, this new information is critical! We can't overlook it!
Silence.
In that case, do you have an answer to this riddle of the mysteriously increasing oxygen? You'd better not disappoint, or I'll declare the inconsistency as a mere equipment malfunction.
Prosecutor Blackwell has a point. I suppose it could be a simple malfunction. Mr. Justice, if you cannot prove an adequate counter-argument to this point, I'm afraid I must bring this trial to an end. So do you think you can explain why the remaining oxygen level increased?
Of course I can. The thing to do at a time like this is turn my thinking around. Mr. Starbuck has no memory of it, but he claims to have carried clay. So this man with the 50 on his tank ought to be Mr. Starbuck. But if anything, the display on his oxygen tank should have shown an 80. This is a clear contradiction between the report and the security footage. So what I should be asking is not, why did the oxygen level increase? But what had to have happened to make it look like it increased? Am I making some kind of mistake in my base assumptions here? This is frustrating because I know what it is and just want to cut to the chase.
Well, Mr. Justice, we're waiting.
Yes, Your Honor. I'm ready to answer. This is why the remaining oxygen appears to have increased. The victim was carrying the defendant. The tanks were damaged. Yes. It's gotta be. What if it was the other way around?
The other way around? Would you care to explain, Mr. Justice?
As you can see, Your Honor, both men had their helmets on in this footage. But it turns out, this is where our base assumptions went astray. We assumed that it was Mr. Starbuck helping Mr. Terran, but it was the other way around. It wasn't Mr. Starbuck helping Mr. Terran at all. It was Mr. Terran who was helping Mr. Starbuck to the boarding lounge.
It was what?
Oh my goodness, oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my. It's exactly what it is.
Order, Mr. Justice. You mean to tell me that the person on the right in this image is the victim, Clay Terran?
It's the only way the riddle of the increasing oxygen level can be solved, Your Honor. At this point in time, the remaining oxygen in the victim's tank was 50%. And when the victim was found in the boarding lounge, his tank was at 0%. That's right. There's nothing contradictory about the oxygen level decreasing. This means Mr. Terran was alive as they made their escape to the lounge.
Silence.
How short your memory is. Have you forgotten what you yourself proposed? Even if the victim was alive at this point in time. How did he descend the ladder with his arms full?
Objection!
His arms weren't full on the ladder. Prosecutor Blackwell, you can't hurt me with a broken blade. Excuse me? Excuse me? It's true that we don't know how they got down the ladder. I suppose that matter needs further investigating. But we have proven that Mr. Terran was alive when he reached the boarding lounge. This fact alone shatters your claims and opens up the possibility that the victim could have been killed by a third party. There were two people who claimed to be the first on the scene, but can we truly trust their statements? Let's see. The two people were Detective Candace Arm and Yuri Cosmos, right? You think that one of them might have given a false statement to the police? Yes, it's certainly possible. We might have to do a little more digging.
It seems we'll have to hear the testimony of these first two people on the scene.
Score.
Come to think of it, Detective Arm should be here in court right now. Bailiff, could you please show Detective Arm to the stand?
Oh no, she's not here. She's dead already. And we already know that.
I have an announcement, everyone.
What's the meaning of this? We're in the middle of a trial here.
Please remain calm and listen carefully. Someone has reactivated the bomb. The bomb was defused, but it's about to explode.
Explode! Explode!
Explode! A bomb! Now! Everybody run! I don't want to die! Oh no! Everybody's panicking! I know, I just wanted an excuse to do the robot voice again. Headless chickens with a death wish, the lot of you, calm yourselves before all else. Come on, Apollo, let's get out of here! But what about Mr. Starbuck's dream? And who will carry out Clay's final wish? I don't care what happens to me! I'm not letting some bomb blow the truth up forever! I'm gonna put on his jacket! I refuse to let things end here! I'm now the astronaut lawyer, and bombs can't stop me! Apollo, this is no time to be dramatic! If we don't get out of here now, we are going to die! Come on, this way! Hey! Ouch! Let me go! Apollo! Juniper! She hasn't evacuated yet? Juniper! Are you alright? Apollo, no! Not that way! Ah! No, I am a mummy pirate! Curse you all! Curse you from my pyramid-shaped courtroom! I'll have my revenge! Oh, to be continued. Well. We're all caught up to the real world. We're now not in sequential order. And I guess that'll be it for this case. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye for now.